Okay, so let's continue on with this review that we started out in the last video. We have about 140 lines of more code to code up, so really have a lot of work to do. Now, on line 25, I want you to add in another div, and this div is going to have class MD7 and an offset of 3. And again, on line 26, I want you to add if current org person, Stripe account status, fields needed, any. So what this does is it will check to see if your account has or requires any more fields, because Stripe needs a certain amount of details about the user in order to allow them to create the account, or in order to allow them to or allow the users to use Stripe. So in order for our grocers or our COO to collect money from Stripe, or to have us distribute money to them via Stripe, they need to have the necessary details that Stripe requires. So this is what the Stripe account status fields any is about. So after that, we're going to do HR to do a horizontal rule. Then we're going to do another div, and it's going to have the class of needed. Now, inside this needed, what we are going to do is we are going to create a form. And this form is for org person. The URL is for org people, Stripe update settings URL. And we're going to have the form horizontal class. And we're going to do F. Now we want to do an end here as well. Now, Stripe update settings is again a new route that we haven't coded up yet, either in our routes or in org people controller. So we'll do that after we finish with this view. So under that, on line 30, I want you to add in a header 3 with needed information. After that, we're gonna do an if statement if the current person's Stripe account status due by. So what due by is it tells us, or tells the grocer, at what point does Stripe need the information. So Stripe sends back a due by, and it tells them, the COO, when Stripe needs the information by. So gives them uh, gives the grocer a date to fulfill all the information that Stripe needs. So after this if statement, we want to open up a UL. This is going to have the class of this groups. Then we want to make another if statement. And this if statement is if manager needs bank account. So if our Stripe manager needs the bank account, then we are going to provide forms for them to fill that out. So if Stripe needs a bank account, then we're going to create the forms to allow the COO to give Stripe the bank account. So we're going to create an LI, and it's going to have a class of this group item, ID of bank account, and data publishable would be our Stripe publishable key that belongs to the current org person or our COO. We're just going to end that LI. And between these LIs, we're going to have script, and that's going to use the source of jsstripe.com. So we're going to use their API. And we're going to have a header of bank account on line 38. Then we're going to add two hidden field tags, the bank account token and the currency. So in our database, we actually save a Stripe currency, so we're just going to use that as the currency. Line 41, we're going to open up another div. It's going to take the class of form group, and line 42, we're going to have our country label. And from 43 to 49, we're going to have this div with a drop down to show all the countries that we currently support, and the countries for us at this moment would just be US and Canada. And that is because if we go to Stripe Managed, the countries that we're only using is United States and Canada. Now after that, if we go to line 51, want to open up another div, and it's going to take class of form group. So it takes a class of form group, and this is going to have an account number for the label, and we're just going to provide a text field to allow them to enter their account number. And we also have to do that with their routing number. So again, we want to copy the exact same format, go to line 57 and paste that in there, and this will be their routing number, and we'll just give them a text field to put in that routing number. And that's pretty much it for the banking information. Now after line 64, we want more information. So if Stripe wants more information, then we need to be able to give them that. So if manager needs legal entity, and let's just put an end here as well. So this is pretty much like your first name, or the COO's first name, last name, and all that sorts of information. So let's open up an LI with class list group item. And again, we're going to have header 3 of legal entity. And this if statement checks if the manager needs the first name. If they do, then we'll have the label first name and a text field to allow them to enter their first name. And again, we want to do the exact same thing for their last name, so we'll just give them a field to do that. If the manager needs their date of birth, then we also need to give them a way to do that. And this date select pretty much gives them a selection box with start year and end year, and allows them to select the date that they were born. So there's more, unfortunately. So on line 101 or 102, if they have a personal ID number or social security number, if Stripe needs that, then they will ask for it, and our COO would need to provide it. And this is all the necessary evils of using Stripe, the information that they require. We would require our user to offer to them. So we have their personal ID number, their social security number, their address line if they need it, address line 2, and the city and the state if it's required, and the zip and the postal code as well. And that's pretty much it. It's still a lot of information, but typically Stripe wouldn't need all that information, so we don't have to worry that much about our COO providing too much too much information. But since they're using this kind of platform, it will be expected that we require, or there would be a requirement of this much data needed. So we have an end, ul, end, div, end, a div, and an end, and a div. So everything looks good. This is our Stripe settings.html.erb. Just a lot of fields that Stripe would require, they would ask for, and we need to provide those fields in order to grab that information from our COO and present that over to Stripe. So we'll just save that. Please rate, comment, subscribe if you enjoy these videos. Leave any questions or comments in the comment box below, and I'll see you guys again in the next video. Thanks for watching.